Hey everyone, we're at the range today and I wanted to test out something I've been curious about for a while. I've been reading a little bit recently and I've been thinking about it for a while, and I wanted to determine whether or not 3-lug suppressors affect accuracy when mounted to 3-lug hosts. So today I brought out a couple of my 3-lug hosts. We have a Sig MPX with an unknown 3-lug adapter threaded onto the Sig barrel, and then I also have a MP5 variant. This is a PTR 9 with a factory threaded 3-lug barrel as well, and I brought 3 of my 3-lug suppressors out to test out. The first one is the Rex MG7 9mm. The second one is a rugged Obsidian 9. The Rex suppressor is using the YHM 3-lug adapter. The rugged Obsidian 9 is using the rugged 3-lug adapter. And then I have a B&T alphabet can. It's the RBS-SQD. This is the quick detach B&T can that just slips right over the 3-lug adapters. So curious to try and compare all of these out in these various combinations to see whether or not there is an accuracy difference. If we lose accuracy, gain accuracy, point of impact shifts drastically. I really don't know. This is something I haven't done before. I know my sample size is kind of small. It's only 2 hosts and 3 cans, but it should be interesting nonetheless. I have target set out at 25 yards. I think that's pretty, I think that's as far as we'd want to go for testing accuracy for these 9mm hosts. And the ammo we'll be shooting today is just factory Federal 147 grain subsonic loads. After we finish the comparison with these, I also want to test out the accuracy of the B&T APC9 SD. This one is an integrally suppressed B&T. It will reduce the velocity of supersonic ammo to subsonic speeds. So I have some 115 grain 9mm. And I kind of want to compare it to the 147 grain 9mm to see if there is any accuracy degradation there. I have chronoed the 147 grain before out of that gun, and it was something like 600 or 700 feet per second. It was moving pretty slow. If I recall, the 115 grain stuff was moving at about 900,000 feet per second. So I'm curious to see if that 147 out of that APC9 SD would reduce the accuracy any. For all the guns today, we'll be shooting 10-round groups. I think that'll give us a pretty good group size to see if we see any degradation of groups. So anyways, let's do some shooting. All right, so first up for a baseline, we'll be shooting unsuppressed. We'll start with the MP5, and again, like I said, we're at 25 yards, and we're going to be shooting 10-round groups. These should be relatively zeroed. We'll see how good we are. All right, let's go see how we did. All right, as you guys saw, that was a decent group at 25 yards. It was about 2 inches unsuppressed. So we'll start with the Rex MG7, and we'll shoot that left target down there, and we'll do that same hold right in that center box there, and we'll see, 1, if we get any point of impact shift, and then 2, whether or not our accuracy degrades. Again, this is the Rex MG7 using the YHM 3-lug mount. All right, since we have everything in frame, we'll go ahead and switch straight over to the rugged Obsidian 9. We'll see how that does. We'll be shooting the center target on this one. And a malfunction there. Just a failure to feed. This one may end up being a 9-round group. Moving on, we'll do the B&T, the RBS-SQD. Interesting. Pretty sure I hit the target frame on that one. Wow. We may have had some deviation with this suppressor. We'll have to go check out. All right, let's go check out those groups. All right, I'm gonna take you guys downrange with me while I look at these. Starting off, as you can see, with no suppressor, decent group, about 2 inches at 25 yards. Pretty much zeroed where I wanted it to. The Rex MG7, looks like we had a slight point of impact shift, but I would say that group size is respectable. That's about the same group size as Unsuppressed. The rugged Obsidian 9, virtually 0 point of impact shift, and almost identical group size. And then we get to the B&T can. Yeah, there's nothing on the paper. So, looking at it, it appears all my rounds were hitting low, and then I did in fact appear to hit the frame a good 1.5 2 feet below my point of aim. So a little concerning there. That BAT can, with that particular setup, can only go one way. I cannot index it on any of the other 3 lugs. And I checked it. It was locked on tight. So kind of concerning there on that one. No baffle strikes as far as I could tell. No end cap strikes. But that was that's a drastic point of impact change. And then you can see accuracy. It's like an 8-10 inch group, just that vertical string there. So will the MPX do better? Let's find out. Alright, next up we have the Sig MPX-K. We'll start again unsuppressed at 25 yards to get a baseline group. We'll see how it does. All right, let's go check it out. All right, as we can see there, unsuppressed, that Sig was about 5-6 inches low, and the group size was significantly larger than the MP5. I don't have a tape measure out here, but I'm guessing probably 4 to 5 inches for the group size unsuppressed. So starting off, the Sig MPX is not looking too hot. Same as the MP5, we'll shoot targets left to right. Let's start with the Rex MG7. All right, moving right along. We'll do the rugged Obsidian 9. And then lastly, a little worried about it, we'll try this B&T can. With this setup, I can index it in any of the 3 positions. We'll try to index the latch at close to 12 o'clock as possible. but it's on there. This does have the most amount of wiggle room compared to the, or most amount of slop compared to the other two cans. So maybe that has some impact on the point of impact shift or the accuracy degradation we're seeing. But let's try it out. Well, I didn't hit the target stand, and it looks like most of the rounds were on paper. So let's go down range and check it out. All right. So like I said in the beginning, unsuppressed, the group size was, or the group position was much lower than my point of aim. Group size is pretty large, probably 4 to 6 inches, pretty decent group size. Moving to the Rex MG7, our point of impact came back up. That's probably because I zeroed with one of these suppressors on there. But again, the group size is about the same, 4 to 6 inches. Not terribly impressive. Moving on to the rugged Obsidian 9. Looks like we had a slight rightward point of impact shift. Group size again, about 4 to 6 inches, nothing too impressive there. And then the B&T suppressor did better on the MPX than the MP5. It looks like we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe that's number 10. So 10 rounds in the same approximate group size as the others, but with a slight point of impact shift to the right and down just a little bit. This MPX has never been all that accurate. I may look at swapping barrels at some point, but the MP5 is far more accurate. Interesting results. I may have to stop using that B&T suppressor on the MP5 due to that drastic point of impact shift that we saw earlier. Good to know. I don't think I've ever checked zero with the B&T suppressor on this MPX. All right, well, that was some interesting results. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, lastly I wanted to compare it with something a little bit different. So this is a B&T APC9 SD. This is the integrally suppressed model. I have 10 rounds of 115 grain supersonic ammo, and then I have 10 rounds of 147 grain subsonic ammo. They should sound the same. I've shot this gun plenty. I've done a video on it. It sounds really good. So they should shoot the same, or they should sound the same, but I'm curious to see if there's any accuracy degradation or any point of impact shift between the two. I do have this rifle zeroed for 124 grain plus P spear gold dots. I chronoed those a little while ago, and they were right at 950 1,000 feet per second. So I think that's pretty good velocity. I did chrono the 147 grain Federal HST ammo through this rifle, and it was incredibly low as well. It was something like 600 or 700 feet per second. So wasn't too confident in that velocity. Wanted something a little bit faster, so I switched up to just a standard 124 grain plus P spear gold dot load. So let's see how it does accuracy wise. Starting off with the 115 grain. Interesting, didn't lock back. All right, I think that's a decent group, probably better than the MPX. All right, let's move over to the 147 grain subsonic loads. Let's go check it out, see how those did. All right, actually I'm kind of surprised at that one. I would have thought the supersonic ammo would have performed better, but it appears in this case the 147 grain subsonic ammo did. Perhaps it was already because it's traveling slow. I'm not too sure. As you can see, like I said, I have this APC-9 zeroed with 124 grain plus P ammo. So we do have a bit of a point of impact shift. I'll have to go back and look at video to see if this was the first round or something in the middle. But discounting that round, pretty decent group size, pretty much directly 12 o'clock there, with standard 115 grain ball ammo. Moving over to 147 grain ammo, pretty decent group size. Interesting, we appear to have one flyer low and to the left, almost identical to the others. I'll have to review video to see which round that was. But the group size is quite a bit smaller than the supersonic ammo, and the point of impact shift is quite a bit less, just a little bit to the left. I don't have any of the 124 grain plus P hollow points with me. Like I said, I've tested those before, and those group pretty well. But there you have it. Pretty interesting results. All right, I just wanted to do a little recap of what I found today. Starting with the MP5, as we know, great accuracy with the MP5 Unsuppressed. Shooting suppressed with the Rex MG7. Accuracy remained consistent, but we did see a slight point of impact shift. With the rugged Obsidian 9, accuracy again remained consistent with minimal to no point of impact shift. And then the MP5 with the B&T suppressor, we completely missed the target. As you recall, we were significantly low and very inaccurate. Group size increased to about a foot. So not sure what the deal is with this suppressor on this particular host. Perhaps it's the mount hitting the front sight block. Not too sure, but it seemed to perform better on the MPX. Speaking of the MPX, as we saw, unsuppressed group size, pretty low, and a pretty big group size. 4 to 6 inches is what I would say the group size is there. Moving on to the Rex MG7 with the MPX, brought the point of impact back up. It looks like group size stayed about 4 to 6 inches. Not too impressive. Maybe that's just what it is with that short MPX. The rugged Obsidian 9, relatively same. It looks like we had a slight point of impact shift to the right, but overall group size hadn't really changed. And then the B&T can performed much better on this host with pretty similar point of impact shift, low and to the right. But we maintained a pretty basic group size to what the MPX shot unsuppressed. So perhaps the MPX is the host for this B&T suppressor. Kind of disappointed. I thought the B&T suppressor would be quite a bit more accurate. So, anyways. So that about wraps it up for today. I'm curious to see if anyone else has similar inconsistent results with 3-lug suppressors on 3-lug hosts. For my small sample size, there definitely is. I think, in my opinion, if you were to have a 3-lug suppressor, it should probably be dedicated to that host. And then along with that, I would make sure that you're indexing your 3-lug suppressor into the same spot each time. As I mentioned on that B&T suppressor with the MP5, it can only be mounted one way. There's too much interference if you try to mount it on the other 2 lugs. So interesting results. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know your thoughts and if there's anything else you'd want to see comparison wise. Thank you.